I get it. You're busy with shopping. You're busy with figuring out your food for the holidays. You don't have time to check in on the Kentucky Derby Trail. That's why I've got you covered. Everybody, welcome back to the Trust the Profits YouTube page. My name is Colin Sheehan. This is the Kentucky Derby Prep Briefing Show. The purpose of this show is to just give you a quick news update on the highlights of what's happened on the trail to the Kentucky Derby for 2023. And the first thing is some exciting news for the Kentucky Derby is that the logo has been revealed. And I think they did a really good job this year with their logo compared to last year where the Twin Spires almost had a little bit of illusion of needles, and after the year before maybe wasn't the best look. This one, you're dealing with 150 next year, so you're in a unique position where next year needs to be a big one. I like what they've done with this one. The diamonds on the bottom are a tribute to Secretariat's 50th anniversary. They are the checkered pattern which mimics Secretariat's silks. The number of diamonds symbolizes the 13 thoroughbred Triple Crown victors. And I love when logos have those little hints inside them that you have to go and look for. And I also really like the font on the word Kentucky. So now you're getting a sense of what the logo will look like for all the merchandise that you'll be buying for Kentucky Derby 149 in 2023. Speaking of Kentucky Derby 2023, this weekend we had two races that were worth points for the Kentucky Derby Trail. We had the Los Alamitos Futurity, won by Practical Move, and the Springboard Mile, won by Wild Atlantic Storm. On Saturday night, very late, 11:30 at night, you may have missed it at Remington Park. We had the Springboard Mile with Echo again for Steve Asmussen and Giant Mischief for Brad Cox as the two main attractions. However, for the third time in 5 years, it was a locally bred horse who got the best of the shippers, and that was Wild Atlantic Storm. We'll back that up for you there. We ran it a little too early, and here you go. Here's the beginning. You see the 5, Giant Mischief, really getting off to a tough start. Lunged. Drew did well to settle him, and he made a nice strong move to get into contention, but had to settle for second in the end. And you'll see Giant Mischief there on the outside. Wild Echo again as your gray horse in the middle there. It's Wild Atlantic Storm, a chestnut by Stormy Atlantic out of a dam by Big Brown, winning at 15-1. Since Wild Atlantic Storm and Giant Mischief both ran on Lasix, though, no Derby points were awarded to first and second. Echo again picks up 3 points. Gunflash picks up 2, and Campfire Creed picks up 1 point. Interesting fact in the Springboard Mile, it is the 18th time out of 22 where the favorite was beaten. Earlier in the day, we had the Los Al's Futurity at Los Alamitos, a field of 5 with 3 Bob Bafferts. Remember, Bob Baffert horses are not eligible for points. So there's a lot of reasons where you had the possibility of 40 points being distributed over the course of the weekend. The 2 horses running on Lasix and the Bob Bafferts meant that I believe there was only 18 or 19 points that were actually given out. The favorite in this race was Arabian Lion, at 2-5, who was in pursuit on the backstretch, but then faded bad in the stretch and ended up finishing last. Something wasn't right based on how this horse has worked. And remember, Giant Mischief beat Arabian Lion Friday at Breeders' Cup, but since something was wrong, I don't think it was a precursor to Giant Mischief also losing. Giant Mischief looks to deserve the shot on the trail. The winner was Practical Move at 10-1 with Ramon Vasquez aboard. He launched a bid at Carmel Road, your eventual second-place finisher, and finished under hand urging, with Bob Baffert's finishing second and third place. The only points went to Practical Move and Tallboy. There's a look at the updated standings with Practical Move getting 10 points. You see Hayes Strike there in green because Hayes Strike is going to be running in this weekend's edition of the Gun Runner Stakes. That is, you look at your entries. This is the second edition of the Gun Runner Stakes. Remember, this race was won by Epicenter last year, and your fifth place finisher last year, something I forgot until I had looked back, a little horse by the name of Rich Strike. Yes, that Rich Strike that won the Kentucky Derby. Here is the field. Hayes Strike has 5 points. Jace's Road has 3 points already on the Derby Trail. Those are the ones with points. I'm interested in number 3, Determinedly, out of the Mark Casse barn. He was second behind Arabian Night on Breeders' Cup Saturday before winning by 7 lengths next time out at Churchill Downs. 3 races on the turf prior to those 2 tries on the dirt. The other interesting horse in here is number 7, and the winner is by Oscar Performance. I think that's a pretty funny name for a horse by Oscar Performance. Remember, this horse ran in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, finishing 7th behind Victoria Road. I've talked about it on Twitter. I'm always intrigued by horses' second time out after the Breeders' Cup. It's an angle that I like to play against, and maybe we have some more data on this race. On the Oaks side, we have the Untappable the day after Christmas at the fairgrounds. 2-year-old fillies with number 1, Pretty Mischievous, as the only horse in the field with official Oak points, 3 for 3, with a place finish behind Hoosier Filly in the Goldenrod, is how Pretty Mischievous got her points. She's 19th place right now. You'll see on the bottom, I threw her on the standings here, so you get a sense of the 3 points that she has accumulated. Here's a look at your field for the Untappable Stakes the day after Christmas. This goes off as race number 12. Brad Cox has the Alley's Look, who was a 7-length winner last time out at Fairgrounds. That's your number 6 on your program. And Michael Stidham has an interesting horse, All About Me by California Chrome, who's 6 for 7 in the money and second in an allowance race on December 2nd, I believe, is run in 2 allowance races. Don't let that be the only ones you pay attention to. There's plenty of 2-year-old action at Fairgrounds the day after Christmas. Race 2, race 4, race 5, race 7, race 8, race 11, and race 12 are all for the 2-year-olds. And one other note on the day after Christmas is Corona Bolt out of the Brad Cox barn is running in race 4 in the Sugar Bowl Stakes. This is a 6 furlong race. Corona Bolt was a winner at 6 furlongs on November 19th at Churchill Downs rather impressively. So another horse that you may want to keep your eye out on. We're marching towards the Kentucky Derby. Once we get through the Gun Runner Stakes, we'll bring back up the schedule. You have the Smarty Jones at Oaklawn and the Jerome at Aqueduct on January 1st. That's right, we're turning the calendar, and the Kentucky Derby is certainly getting into sights when horses will really start gearing up for their preps. And it's you're starting to be able to feel it. We're getting close. So thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It does so much for the channel and support for us. Everybody have a great holiday, and we will see you next time on the Kentucky Derby Prep Briefing Show.